Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
How are you?
All right. Had a good weekend? Did you have a good one?
Yes.
All right. Tell you what gets it done for me. That officially, a couple things that officially let me know that spring is here. When, aside from it being Easter, but when I can see the 10 Commandments, the original one, Charlton Heston and all the other folks, and the freaking Wizard of Oz, that gets it done for me. I'm straight there. I know it's spring. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go now, So, and then I eat a lot, so I'm not gonna lie. But I gotta add this in. 6 o'clock, my alarm went off. I was in the street by 6:30. I rocked those 4 miles, Sam. I rocked them. She's like, "What are you talking to me?"
My computer keeps like falling off the little like makeshift pillows I have, so I'm trying to like balance it.
Oh, you working it? All right. That's a UMGC student.
I at least want to be comfortable if I'm gonna do schoolwork.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, so when are you all gonna post your talks? When are you gonna introduce yourselves to me?
Post it after like the 600th time I re-record myself.
Okay. All right.
I'm on my 5th draft, and I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'd like to improve. So we're almost there.
Okay. Well, Mike, you got to catch up, man. Chris did 600, man. Come on, man.
He's got more time than I do.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So you got about 595 left to go.
Well, you don't need 600 tries if you get it right on the 6th.
I'm not commenting.
Yeah, I'm very critical.
I'm not commenting on that one. All right. Fair enough. So do you have any questions as you get ready to pull this thing together here? Okay. All right. What's going on, Savannah?
Hi.
I didn't know he was going to call on me tonight. Look here, everybody's subject to get it, okay? I'm just saying. You just don't know, Frederick. You just never know. Man sitting there looking all serious. Man, you better crack a smile before I cut you off this call. I'm talking to you.
And I'm tired.
I'm tired too. I'm tired too. I haven't had dinner or anything, so I'm antsy.
Right.
Then there you go. He got the smile. I got it out of. And then we got this game tonight. I don't know if any of y'all basketball fans, but I tell you what, if you missed Saturday's game, that was one for the ages, man. I'm just saying that was one for the ages. And I'm gonna throw you a quick quiz, but I'm only gonna give you like 10 seconds to answer this question. 10 seconds. Now only a handful of us know the answer because we've been around. Okay, so as you know, Gonzaga is it's undefeated. They have an opportunity to win the championship. It's been a while since we had an undefeated team to win the championship. Who was the last team? You got 10 seconds.
The Patriots.
College.
The Tar Heels, North Carolina.
Who said that?
Jameek McDonald.
Jameek, you gotta show your face, man. I don't talk to screens. There you go.
Sorry. I thought it was short.
All right, 10 seconds up. The last team, undefeated team to win an NCAA division championship is the 1976 Indiana Bobby Knight Tar Heels. Not Tar Heels.
I was right.
I threw you off. No, the Indiana Hoosiers. 1976. That's right.
He got his hopes up so strong.
I know. I had to. I couldn't let him off the hook. I thought he knew. He wasn't even around. He wasn't even thought of. I don't even know if his folks were around. I mean, dude wasn't even around. Gonna blurt out
Feel
there.
like
But
that
I
sometimes.
gotta give you credit, Mr. McDonald, for courage, man. For the courage. I like that. Stepped out there. Frederick, you should have got that, Mr. Wiggins. You should have got that, Mr. Wiggins. Not to put you out there, bro. I'm older than you, but you should have gotten that. I was expecting you to have the answer. Get it. Don't answer it right next time. What's going on, Mr. Lee?
Not much, Professor.
Yeah? How you doing?
I'm pretty tired.
You tired too?
Yeah.
Oh, mercy. I'm gonna have to send you all over some of what I got. I got something for you. Everybody on this call, y'all join me in the street tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. Lace up. I got 4 miles with your name on it, Michael.
I'll already be at work, so
Well, then I guess
you're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
have to
to
do
catch me
this
at
at
the office.
4:30. I guess we're gonna have to do this at 4:30.
You're gonna have to catch me at the office, and you're gonna have to give
I
me a
got
reason
something
to
for you,
run.
bro. You come on out with me at night. You see this thing here? This is when I go out running in the streets at night, in the morning, early in the morning. But I don't have to now because it gets bright outside. Oh yeah, I'm not playing. Okay, now, what's the deal? Nobody posted the freaking elevator pictures. I don't know. I'm beginning to take this thing personal here. What? Nobody posted the freaking elevator picture. A 1 to 2 minute pitch, Bradley. Oh yeah, you did, Bradley. All right, that's right. Bradley did post. Bradley did.
We're supposed to post it in week 2's assignment.
I tell you what, you better get that thing in.
No, I'm asking. Like that's where we're supposed to post it, correct? And then post another one in the week 3 discussions.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's the redo. That's where I critique you, and then you get a mulligan. You get a second chance to clean that thing up. Yeah. So, look, y'all can't botch this thing, man. This is what they call a layup in class. This is a freaking layup. So all you got to do, follow the freaking script. But now here's the thing. Don't get me upset. Now. Here, you want to get the old man upset? Whoever got the pooch, and I like pooches. I got one back here too, so she may bark as well. But I can't mute myself. So if you come up here doing your elevator pitch, I want y'all to hear me clearly. I'm putting on the back on my professor hat now. And y'all read those things, I'm not gonna be happy. I will ginsu you. I will ginsu you like a fish. Do not. Again, if you're introducing yourself to someone, you're gonna roll up with a piece of paper. I'm just asking. So you gotta make this thing very freaking authentic. All right? You're rolling up on someone, you're looking them straight in the eye, and you're being personal. You're being personable. Everyone in here, I done talked to all of you. You all got some awesome personalities. Well, then you got to let this thing, hey, Candace, there she go. You got to let this thing show. That's how you get in. You want the opportunity, right? You can't get the opportunity if you don't put on the charm offensive. You can't get the opportunity. Savannah, if you don't, have that charisma going for you. And Mr. Wiggins, I'm not talking about no Starbucks drink. There's no Starbucks drink called charisma. I'm talking about you. Sam, Candace, Zachary, Min, Chris, Bradley, Michael, Mr. McDonald. I'm talking about you, your charisma. What makes you authentic? What makes you awesome? And this is what I'm expecting to see. Now, I'm not talking about anything over the top, but you got to learn that script. And I'm not saying it's got to be exactly like that, but don't go too far off now. Don't go, I want to at least recognize it. All right. So you're introducing me, you're telling me your skill set, you're telling me what makes you a fit for my company, how can you solve my problems? Why can't I live without you? Why do I have to have you? And you're not leaving your awesomeness on the table. Now, I know some folks, they like to say, oh, well, I ain't done nothing yet. Everybody in here has done something. Like I said last session, I don't care if you led a state championship volleyball team. You did something. I don't care if you're the night manager at Panera Bread. You're a leader. You did something. I don't care if you led a freaking platoon. You did something. You can't leave that on the table, because what you're doing here is you're differentiating yourself against your competition when you have that opportunity. And sometimes, class theorists, you only get that chance once. You only get that chance to meeting that person one time. I told you the story last week. You're only going to meet that person one time sometimes. And that's how your breakthrough comes. But you got to know what you're talking about, and you got to be strategic, and you got to get right to the point. And then you got to do the ask. You got to ask, got to put it in your control, not in their control, because, like I told you, you give people your cards get lost, they go home, oh, nice card, and put it right in their stack that I showed you. And you're lost in the sauce. You don't exist anymore. But now if you get my card and you schedule a specific time with me and you follow up, then guess what? There's a high probability that I have to meet you. Even if I have to reschedule, I'll have to call you. Oh my God, call me? Guess what? Now I got your phone number on my mobile. Gotcha. You got to work it if you want it. How bad do you want it? Because you're not going to get these chances often. So I am expecting, I have high expectations. I don't have high expectations of people who I don't think can meet them. That you're going to bring it. That you're going to learn that talk. And just relax. Be yourself. Have fun with the thing. I don't care if you have 5 recordings. Oh, I don't care if you have 595 recordings. But that's okay. Get her done. Make it happen. And then we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the redo. But I can't talk about the redo if we don't do the do-do. You like that, Michael? I totally pulled that out my back pocket, bro. Totally. Yeah. But I talk shiitake for a living. So, this is what I do. And people like me. Well, most people do. Some people can't handle it. They just can't handle it. No, I only had 2 cups of coffee this morning. That was, I don't know. I guess when I got back in about 8 o'clock, I had my 2 cups of coffee. 7, I don't know. Lost count. But anyway, all right. So we got all that covered. So I'm done talking about the elevator pitch. I'm done. But now let's just say we're caught up now or catching up. Because now I want to throw something else at you. Your informative presentation. Now, after your elevator pitch redo, the next week you're going to go right into the informative presentation. So here's what I want you to think about first. Now, I'm not going to give you any topics. I'm not going to ask you, Mr. Lee, why the sky's blue or how to split the atom, Candace. I'm not going to ask you no topic like that. You are going to pick a topic that you're passionate about. And everyone on this session has a topic that they're passionate about. It's not that hard. Everybody in there got at least 4, 5, maybe 10 things that they're passionate about. Now, I highly encourage you to run the topics by me. That way we don't run the risk of picking something crazy. Okay, we got enough crazy going on right now. We don't need to get crazier. All right, so run the topic by me. So how do you run the topic by Professor Golden? Well, you go hit me up and ask the professor. And you just say, hey, Professor Golden, I'm thinking about doing this topic on this. And I'll let you know if it's okay. But the chances are 99.9% of the time, they're okay. All right. So I don't know. Someone might want to talk about cooking something. I don't know. Somebody might want to talk about how to find the best Airbnb. I don't know. Somebody might just want to talk about Bitcoin. I don't know. But the name of the game is you are informing us. So now, here's the deal. I know some of y'all act like y'all got these photographic memories. Only person I see with a notepad is Michael. Don't mean you don't have one. I'm just saying the only one I see is Michael. Makes me feel good. Makes the old man feel good. So your topic. So now after you pick this title, you gotta have a structure. You can't just go willy-nilly and just wing it and ramble and start talking. The best speakers in the world, class theorists, they're strategic. They know what they're talking about. What was that? Somebody sent, is that chat to me, Bradley? Or is that to somebody in the class? Me? That's for me? Okay, well, hold on, let's see here. Opening from a briefing earlier. Well, I might be able to pull that off. I might be able to do that, but you better get through this freaking what's this thing? Elevator pitch first, bro. Trying to jump the gun, man. You better kill this elevator pitch first. But yeah, I can do that. All right. Yeah, there you go. Mike said, oh man, I like his. I like Michael's. He said he could show us how to make the perfect steak. Nothing like a good steak. But let me, Michael, since you put it out there, bro, how you make the perfect steak, why don't you tell the old man how to pair up the perfect bottle of wine with the perfect steak? Okay, now you got to win. All right. And if I don't like the wine, I'm gonna fail you.
Well, I can definitely give you a good wine to go with the steak too.
Okay, save it for the talk. Save it for the talk.
I'll
No
get that in there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. My man. All right. So, okay. So you got the topic. Now, your next question should be, how am I going to open? How am I going to open? How am I going to engage my audience? Now, there's several ways to do this. I see Miss McDonald flipping over a note. I see it. I saw the end of it, trying to hide it, but I saw it, baby. One, you can open with a freaking statement. That's one way to open a talk. Next, you can open with a fact, a startling fact. Next, you can open with a question, direct or indirect. Next, you can open with a quote But now here's the catch. Here's the catch. If you're going to say that quote, you better learn that quote. All right? The quote loses its potency if you're reading the quote. Better learn that quote. You can open with a line of humor. Now, I want to caution you, if you're not that funny, don't go there. All right? Because some of y'all think y'all more funny than you actually are. All right? So you can open with a line of humor. Facts, all that good stuff. But now, here's the catch, because you got to get your audience attention, Mr. Lee. You got to get their attention. Your first 30 seconds, your eye contact should be on your audience. Your last 30 seconds of your talk, your eye contact should be on your audience. Now, why is that important, Professor Golden? Well, here's why it's important. It's important to engage your audience. It's important to demonstrate some sincerity. You ever heard those speakers, you ever heard people say, God, I felt like he was talking to me? Well, then that's why you make that eye contact, because you're engaging your audience. I can't begin to tell you, class theorists, how many times I've heard speakers come up with notes. I don't like notes. Come up with notes. And this is what they're doing. Hi, my name's Jim Golden. Why in the hell are you reading your name? You know your name. You get my point? That just kind of takes the edge off your talk. Now, here's what takes it to a whole era of sexiness. Listen clear. Orally citing your sources. If you orally cite your sources, this goes from a my opinion talk or an alternative fact talk to a factual talk. It gives your presentation teeth, according to the Washington Post, according to the Pew Research Center, according to this source, according to that source. It is said XYZ. Now we're talking about a scholarly source here. And I promise you, if you just kind of listen to speakers, oftentimes, or even news people, whoever it is you listen to, oftentimes they'll quote sources. That's what makes the talk credible. You know, I don't know about you, but you ever run into those people who roll up on you and they say, they said? Who in the hell are they? I haven't figured that out yet. So you got to understand who, where these sources coming from. This gives you talk teeth. Next, as you are speaking. Now, this isn't a requirement, because I understand we're in virtual situations and room and space can dictate what we can do. But you got to get your gestures on, class theorists. You got to get your gestures on. I'm talking about eye contact. I'm talking about smile if necessary. I'm talking about being a little serious if you're necessary. Showing some hand gestures, something. You can do that if you're standing, or you can do that if you're seated, just like I am. And definitely get the voice fluctuation on. Nobody should be like freaking Eeyore. You know what I mean. And for those of you who don't know who Eeyore is, that's Winnie the Pooh's wingman. And if you don't know who Winnie the Pooh is, Google it. Now, but you should have a little dynamism. And that calls for voice fluctuation at times. You should learn your talk. Now, I'm not saying learn it to the point to where you're like a freaking robot. You know how you You learn it so well, you're just reciting it. That's not impressive. You got to put your personality in here, just like you're going to do with this interview, this elevator pitch. You got to put your personality into it. I'm not impressed that you just know to talk. I'm impressed if you personalize it, if you get personal with your audience. They like that. Why do you think when I connect with you, I'm calling you out by your name and I'm talking to you and I haven't had dinner either? Because I know it's late. It's late for me. It's 7:32 for all of us. But my thing is, I want to get information to you. I want to keep you engaged, sincerely, keep you engaged and while getting the information across. So I have to bring it every time I'm on the call. Now, this is too much for some folks to handle. I mean, what's the speech 100? Y'all can go take speech 101 or whatever. You can go sign up for the next class. It's not too late. But now, if you want, this is where you want to be. You're in the right place. This is where you want to be. Because I'm going to bring it to you. I got 32 years in this business. I'm an award-winning public speaker. I have an award-winning business. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm about to sign a deal right now with a freaking telemedicine company. Hopefully they don't choke on what I'm charging them. That might kill it. But whatever. I'm worth it. Can't be ashamed of knowing what you're worth. You know what I mean? Can't be scared to put it out there. Because you know what? I learned a lesson a long time ago. I was just trying to charge just enough. And pardon me, I'm just going to digress for about a minute. So I'll get back to our regularly scheduled program, already in progress. But, I'm trying to charge. I don't want to hurt nobody's budget feelings. And guess what? This was back 2005. And one of my customers told me, she said, a customer, she said, you're charging too low. She said, we got people out here, charging thousands of dollars and getting it. Oh, I was happy. I gave her my invoice. It was about $1,200 for that day. And she told me I was charging too low. You know how many people will be happy with $1,200 in one day? Oh, I thought I was doing something, boy. I was like, oh, yeah. The woman told me, she said, we got people charging thousands, not 8,000, and getting it. I woke up then. I woke up. But you got to get to that point. You got to earn that. And you can get it. I'm telling you. I don't care what your field is. I don't care what your major is. Everyone on this call, any presentation that's happening, you should raise your hand. I want to do it. I want to do it. A conference or whatever. You should raise. I want to go. I want to speak. Every time you should speak. Because the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the more confidence you get. You're like, okay, there's 50 people in the room. But then when you get your swagger on, 500, that's all. 500, that's all. I'm telling you, man, I got friends right now. They $10, $15,000, first class, Dubai, all expenses paid for an hour-long freaking talk. I know. So it can happen. It can happen. But you got to get yourself to that point. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You got to be strategic about your talk. You got to know how you're going to make your audience react. You got to know how you're going to open. You got to know how you're going to close. You got to practice this thing and you got to learn it and you got to be dynamic. I'm not talking about over the top kind of stuff. I'm just talking about kind of variation. You come on, y'all know how y'all kick it with y'all crew. It's a little bit of everything. Laughter and energy and this and that. Well, why can't you display that when you're talking to your audience? Same concept. Same concept. But you got to know yourself. You got to know your stuff. This isn't, public speaking is terrifying for a lot of people. You know why? Because people spend too much time worrying about what people think about them. They're worrying about messing up. And oh my God, I could write a book on messing up. How you gonna learn? You can't just learn off successes. It's like that young man, for those who saw the game, like that young man who shot that last minute shot for Gonzaga to win that game. You know what I told my son? We were talking. I said, that boy knew he was gonna make that shot. You can tell his body was squared up. I mean, he wasn't shooting off 1 foot up, hooking it up. That boy squared up and took that shot. He knew. That's what I'm talking about. People can, just like you all heard the saying, some of you all have been in the service, people can sense and smell fear. People can sense and smell confidence too. Oh yeah. Your most important part, if we were meeting in person, oh man, I'll be taking you guys through the whole charm school offensive. What I mean when I say that, just walking to the stage, walking to the platform sends a signal. 80% of your talk, as I said before, is nonverbal. How you walk to the podium sends a message before you even open your mouth. And your posture and your stance. And this is where I'm trying to get you to go, even in a virtual sense. This thing matters to people. It speaks to them. So even if you're sitting down, Mr. Wiggins, and giving your talk, well, then you know what? Straighten that back up. See, I'm a child of the 70s. See, I grew up listening to a group, y'all don't know, called Parliament Funkadelic. All right. And they used to have a line in there. And the line went, put a glide in your stride and a dip in your hip and come on up to the mothership. That's what I'm talking about. You got to put a glide in your stride. You got to put a dip in your hip. You got to have a little swagger. People, you got their attention now. So let's take a dive here into this thing called informative speaking. Let's take a dive into this. Because my job here is to prepare you. And I want you to kill it. I want you to get paid. I want you to grow in your career. So let's talk a little bit about public speaking. Informative. Okay, so now your informative presentation. Bottom line, you're introducing a new idea to the audience. Instructions, demonstrate to the audience how to, or even explain a detailed, complicated information. Now, I know some of you are a little bit more on the technical bent side or whatever, and that's fine. But look, you don't have to impress us with your big words and technology and all that stuff. You got to break this thing down to where we understand this stuff. So what, you can code in Python? So what, you're an ethical hacker? You know what I mean? You got to break this thing down to where your audience can understand it, because it don't mean anything if they don't get it. Are y'all feeling me? Are y'all feeling it? Okay, all right. Okay, so here's the deal. There's different types of informative presentations, okay? One is a speech of awareness. You're making the audience aware, event, person, place, or thing. What does that look like? You know, hey, here's information on how to get discounted classes, inexpensive places to stay. You remember I told you about that nice Airbnb or whatever? You know, you're giving us the strategy on how to pick the perfect Airbnb, how to make the perfect steak. Oh my God, my mouth is, Michael got my attention already. I mean, I can't even wait. I might make him do this thing early. With the perfect glass of wine, bro, that's not fair. But anyway, speech of explanation, a deeper understanding of a complex topic, something scientific. Some of you all got the financial mojo. You know, how to invest in a stock, what's the P&E ratio on how to pick a stock and all of this stuff. This is what I'm talking about. Environmental, you know, like I said, technical. Speeches are demonstrations. You explain it to the audience on how to do something. Example, I don't know. Somebody might want to show something on self-defense. Somebody might want to go in the direction of how to do an animated TikTok video, you know, or how to generate more followers on Twitter. Somebody might want to, I don't know, show us how to do the perfect yoga pose for strength and conditioning. Anything. But you know, but you got to explain the end goal, okay? When you do a speech demonstration, because I'm going to use Michael's as an example. The end goal here is to make a steak that's not only flavorful, but that you can chew. You know what I mean? That's the end goal.
And cut it with a fork.
And be able to cut it with a fork. That's right. Not tear it like a cardboard box. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Or you may choose to go the demonstrative route of speeches that compare, you know, pros and cons, online classes versus in-person classes. Now, also, too, keep in mind that these speeches can overlap. These types of speeches can overlap. You can have one that demonstrate, you know, an explanation or something like that. Okay? Now, here's the trick question. How long are you supposed to speak? It's not an I got you kind of thing.
3 or 5 minutes.
3 to what?
3 or 5 minutes.
I'll help you out. 3 to 4. Okay? 3 to 4 minutes. Now let me let you in on a little secret here. Y'all home. You got no reason to go over or under the time. Now, if we were in class, I wouldn't let you use any time. You can look at that. You can go, but now I'm telling you, if you go over or under the time, because I know some folks, man, they get to talking. You know how some of us say, I got to do this because this is my job. But you know, some folks, be honest with you, and I know y'all not gonna believe this. I'm really kind of a quiet guy. Yeah, really. I am. I am. Because I tell people I talk all the time. So sometimes I just don't want to talk. I just want to listen. But I say that to say this. If you go over the time, I'm going to take points away from you. 1 point for every 10 seconds. So don't black out. All right. The key is when you're doing your research on your particular topic, the key is WIIFM. WIIFM. What's in it for me? That's what you got to always ask yourself when you're in regards to your audience. What is it that they want to know? Not what you want to tell them. What will interest them? So you have to think about this when you're pulling your presentation together. And I have a perfect, simple outline that I'll post in the announcement for you to have. And that way you can have it. All right? So keep that in mind. What's in it for me? All right. So now we're doing virtual. That's where we are, virtual presentations. That's what you're gonna give me. So here's the deal. I gotta share this with you anyway. It's kind of basic, but you know, you got two types of virtual presentations. You got asynchronous and synchronous. We're synchronous, right? Because we're live. So, but the big difference is with the asynchronous, you know, you got where, you know, people don't see it in real time, and you know, they can go back and review, kind of like the recording I post in the student lounge. You know, you can go back and take a look at that, listen to that, and everything else. But the synchronous, like we're doing right now, this gives you an opportunity to interact with me as I with you, and you can ask me questions and get real-time answers. All right, so those are the two types of virtual presentations. Okay, so now, if you're gonna play the game, you gotta know the rules of the game. If you're gonna do a virtual presentation, class dear, please, please, baby, please, get the lighting right. All right? Like I told you, last semester, I had one guy, he was in the freaking dark. I thought he was hiding from the mob. I mean, all I could see was his eyeballs and his teeth. I'm like, how am I supposed to evaluate you, man? So if you happen to do the presentation in the daytime, the light, either way, daytime or nighttime, the main source of your light should come from the front. Okay? The main source of your light should come from the front. Close the blinds behind you because you get a whole nother effect. I had one student do a presentation, had the blinds, beautiful day outside, but they looked like they were descending from heaven. Oh, all I saw was bright light behind them, and they were just floating in, you know. Kill that. All right. Now, depending on where you give your presentation, make sure your room clean. Okay. Oh my God. I won't even go into the things I've seen. So I'll just leave that one alone. But make sure your room clean. All right. Next, know the technology. Know the technology that you're using. Okay? Because I can assure you, for your persuasive speech, you will be doing a video just like this. You know, a video, and you'll have a visual aid that will be required. Now you might say, how do I do that, Professor Golden? Oh my God, there's so many ways. You can use Zoom just like I'm using right now. Hell, man, well, I ain't never used no Zoom before. Oh, come on, man. Look, let me tell you something. About a year ago this time, I think probably the first time I used Zoom. And you know who I practiced it on? I had a group of friends, and we would, you know how you catch up with your family, you catch up with your friends on Zoom. I practiced my freaking Zoom on them. I told them, I said, excuse me, guys, let me see if I can upload this PowerPoint or whatever. You know, they bared with me, laughed at my PowerPoint. But anyway, you know, but it can work. Zoom, YouTube, Panopto. Anybody use Panopto? It's a nice little tool. You can for doing both visual and things of that nature. Next, I left out Vimeo and Google. You can use Google to record your presentation, but you got to know how to use the technology. Play to the camera. Look into the camera as much as possible. You know, place it at eye level. We don't need to see what's up in your nose. You don't need to see that bald spot. We don't need to see all of that. Make it eye level if possible. Get close, not too close. All right? We don't need to see what you have for dinner either. So you got to understand these basic rules because, see, the name of the game, class, you don't want a distraction. It's all about your presentation, not everything else about you around your presentation. All right? And You still got to do them gestures. You still got to do that voice fluctuation. Don't hide behind your slide. Don't let your slides upstage your talk, because it's about you. All right, here's some more. What's that commercial? But wait, there's more. If possible, stand up, or at least waist high, or if you gotta sit down, which I understand, again, I got nothing against it, but sit up. Do a sound check. Oh my goodness. That's something that I don't like. No, and I'll tell you what it is. If I got to turn my freaking volume all the way up, I mean, good grief, how can I evaluate you if I can't hear you? Engage your participant. Engage us. Have fun with this thing. I know you're doing it for a grade. I get it. But you know what? Have a little fun. Get a little animated. You know, get a little happy with this thing. Speed that voice up. Pick it up. Now, there's nothing that doesn't say in your outline, because the outline I'm giving you, you can fill that up with your speech. But in your talks, you can put little cues in there that says, speak up at this point, speak up. You can put something in there at this point, get serious. At this point, lower your voice. At this point, you know, ask the question. You can do that. But then you learn your talk. Now, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's okay if you use index cards. But I'm going to tell you the danger in the index cards, because it should only be to bullet points to kind of guide you in your talk. But some people tend to write the whole presentation on the index cards. And I have a rule. If you have index cards, you're going to use index cards. They're just seductive, you know, like moth to a flame. You're just going to go there. You can use them, but it doesn't have to be, you know, just be careful. Put your bullet points in there to guide you, and you go from there. So it can work. Okay. This is probably the most important part of any presentation that you will ever give. I'm telling you, if you want to take your presentation to the next level and don't freaking blow up, bomb, as they say, you better do an audience analysis. I always ask a customer, what's the occasion? How many people? Why are they here to listen to me? What is it that they need to know? What's the level of knowledge of the people I'm talking to? Are they all, you know, top shelf, or is it a mixture, newbies, or what? You got to know all of this. You got to know things like, if you really want to take it to a micro level, gender, race, and ethnicity. There are people who target their talks to whomever is in the freaking audience. Those people usually have the most success. If you give the wrong, a canned talk that you just pulled out of your back pocket that you used a year ago and give it to an audience, same audience, a different audience, you're in trouble. Okay, so let's take a deeper dive here. Now, y'all heard me use this term, audience analysis. What's in it for me? WIIFM. So what is this thing called audience analysis? This is the process, class theorists, of learning more about your audience in order to appropriately adapt your message so that your presentation is understood and useful and is well received. And what you're doing is you're gaining a snapshot of your audience. All right. And speaking of audience, while it's on my mind, because I done seen this flub too many times. If you're doing something virtual, please be mindful of a hot mic or a hot video. You know what I mean? Sometimes people forget the mic is on and they get caught. You know what I mean? I'll just say 2 words. And if you don't know who this person is, look him up. Jeffrey Toobin. Somebody got it. Ah, okay, where was I? I got too excited, man. You made me mess up my y'all. There we go. Okay, so got any comments or questions on that I shared with you? I'm dumping the farm on you. All right, let's take a deeper dive here into the audience analysis. All right. Yeah, everybody needs to understand the dynamism of this thing. I'm telling you. Which I thought, yeah, who thought that we were just gonna come up here and I was just gonna give you talks to just read speeches and you know, you just go your merry way. That wasn't gonna happen like that. It just wasn't gonna happen like that. Okay, so here's the deal. Audience analysis is the critical element of any presentation. I already told you what, I already read that definition. I'm not going there again. But I do want you to understand this here. There are 2 types of speakers. You got speaker-centric speakers and you got audience-centric speakers. I'll cut to the chase. You want to be on the side of being an audience-centric speaker. You always want to think about your audience, okay? Because what speaker-centric speakers are concerned with, they're only concerned with themselves. Ooh, I got a nice topic. Ooh, you know, I. It's all about I. And it should really be about your audience. Those are the most successful speakers. So there's primary dimensions here that you got to think about here. Demographics, psychological, and contextual. Let's take a deeper dive here into the demographics. You want to ask questions about age, race, sex, culture, and ethnicity. This saved my behind back in 2013 when I was up for a large contract opportunity at Penn State University. And I was sitting in the planning meeting with the coordinator. And I asked him I was giving a talk on stereotypes. So I kind of stepped out of my lane, but I was handpicked by a vice president who sat in another presentation. And she said, I want Jim to deliver this workshop. I trained 1,100 people over the course of a summer. And she wanted me to give a talk on stereotypes. Now they already had the stuff, you know, materials and everything, and I was had the flexibility to massage it and stuff like that. But I had to ask, who was I talking to? And so the coordinator told me. He said, the audience is going to be 99% white. I said, okay, all right, cool. I said, and you know, y'all know me, y'all know I'm crazy. So I asked him, I said, who the hell they gonna practice it on? And the guy couldn't answer. But in knowing that, it gave me the opportunity to customize, not pull out something canned, customize my talk to get them who are all from different parts of Pennsylvania, from urban to rural, to understand how they could be stereotyped. And once they saw how they could be stereotyped, they developed empathy towards others. You understand? But I never would have gotten to that point had I not asked that question. Who am I talking to? So you always want to know who you're talking to. You always want to know who you're talking to. So I done gave you these questions here. You know, how many people? Oh God, please find out how many people you're talking to. All right. It's almost always going to change, but you don't want a situation where you're expecting 50 people and there's 500 people. It may be 75, you know, we brought in a couple extra chairs, you know, but you don't want to get shocked because you don't know. And I'm going to tell you something. People mess up on the basic things here. All of this is in the soup of the audience analysis. How long am I to speak? You should always ask, how long am I to speak? Because you want to know when to cut this thing off. You don't want to be one of those people that just go on and on and on. Come on. All right. So you want to know what time I'm supposed to speak. Y'all think I'm playing. You want to know, Sam, where am I supposed to speak? You know how many people that don't know where to go? Where am I supposed to speak? What's the organization? I'm just going to use this one for convenience, but you don't want to be a brain surgeon going to speak to a group of dentists. You understand? That just won't go over too well. I'm just saying, you want to know who you're speaking to. You know, what's the occasion? Everything. You got to ask these questions. Okay, so psychological, interests, attitudes, and opinion. What do they know about the topic already? What's their level of knowledge? Are these senior level people here? So let's say I think we got a couple ethical hackers in here. Let's say you're talking about ethical hacking. Well, are you talking to people who participated in the last hackathon, who really know what the heck's going on? Or are you talking to junior level people? You want to know so you can tailor your talk. What is it that they want to know? What's the most important audience values? Do they want to know how to, be better ethical hackers? What's the challenges? What problems do they have as an organization in this group that you're supposed to solve? Are you going to talk to them about additional certifications you can get? Well, that's real helpful. It really will be. But you gotta ask these questions. Again, you see, it's all about meeting the audience need. Contextual. Is attendance mandatory or voluntary? Because if it's mandatory, you're gonna have a little bit more pressure on you because a lot of them people might not even want to go. They might not even want to show up. They might not even want to come. And if your talk is kind of janky, they'll turn on you. Your audience could turn on you. What are people wearing? You don't want to overdress for a situation where people are business casual or even casual dress, and vice versa. I already mentioned to you about what time of day and about how long you are to speak. You got to ask these questions. These are questions that you have to ask your audience. Now, these are some of the basic ones here, but these are questions that I ask all the time. This teledoc virtual thing that I'm supposed to facilitate teaching people how to be moderators, I had to find out, how many of these people ever moderated before. You know what I mean? So I can know how to tailor the talk. How many of these people are comfortable with public speaking and presentation skills so that I can tailor the talk? How long I'm supposed to facilitate this virtually so I can tailor the talk? Every speech that you give should be customized to your audience. Now, let's take a little listen here one gentleman here who is giving a particular informative presentation. Hopefully everybody can hear it. Hopefully it works.
I'm a business lawyer and a negotiation consultant, so my professional life centers on effective conflict management. And today I'm going to tell you the story of one of my most serious conflicts. In order for you to wrap your head around the gravity of this situation, there's something important you need to know about me. I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So earlier this year, after a long day at work, all I wanted to do was relax at home with a bowl of my favorite cereal. So imagine how I felt when I got home and I saw my lovely wife, Whitney, sitting on the couch, finishing the last bowl of my cereal. And she did not even have the decency to use milk. So without thinking, I marched into the kitchen, I took her granola and I ate all of it. And I don't even like granola. This is an example of how not to handle conflict. So obviously we're having a little bit of fun with that example, but the reality is that conflict can be the most challenging part of our personal and professional lives. Whether it's a business negotiation or a heated political argument, these conversations are intimidating and infuriating. But why? This is your amygdala. The amygdala is a temperamental part of the brain that is quick to respond to perceived threats. It's part of the limbic system, which is one of the most primitive brain structures and is also known as the lizard brain. These quick primal responses were critical for survival way back in the day when we were living in caves and death lurked around every corner. But the problem is that society evolved faster than our brains. And as a result, today we struggle in difficult conversations because we're fighting modern day battles with prehistoric tools. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment that you immediately knew was a mistake? This is called an amygdala hijack, and it can take you from rational to irrational in the blink of an eye. These responses are rooted in fear, and we only have 3 fear responses: fight, flight, and the often overlooked freeze response, which is also known as the deer in headlights response. And your preferred fear response is most likely going to be a product of your lived experience. I grew up in Tiffin, Ohio. And the thing that I really appreciated about Tiffin was its diversity. On top of that, my family's from the Caribbean, so I had a strong Caribbean accent when I was growing up. So not only did I look different, I also sounded different. And not surprisingly, this combination made it real tough for the young boy to fit in. So because of this, I became obsessed with finding ways to gain the acceptance of my peers. And eventually, I became one of the most popular kids in school. But this came with a price. I became deathly afraid of saying or doing something that could potentially jeopardize the relationships that I worked so hard to create. I became a people pleaser. And this made it less likely for me to stand up for myself in difficult conversations. In other words, I would freeze or flee in the face of conflict. This led me to agree when I actually disagreed and avoid confrontation at all costs. But all this changed when I met my mentor, and he told me something that I will never forget. He said, "Kwame, there is a big difference between being liked and being respected. And if you want to have personal and professional success, you need to be willing to engage with conflict." So after that meeting, I forced myself to have the difficult conversations that I spent my whole life trying to avoid. And as I built this new habit, I discovered something life-changing. Conflict is an opportunity. Conflict provides you with the unique opportunity to either repair and strengthen valuable relationships or identify and remove malignant relationships with minimal damage. So how do we actually engage with the conflict at hand? You remember fight, flight, or freeze? I suggest that we use a more evolved response to conflict resolution, something that I like to call compassionate curiosity. Now, the distinction between curiosity and compassionate curiosity is more than just semantics. For example, you could start a conversation off like this. What the hell is your problem? Curious, yes. Compassionate, no. Or you could start a conversation like this. How do you feel about this situation? Compassionate curiosity fosters a genuine desire to understand that is tempered with empathy and respect. Approaching conversations in this way naturally causes you to ask better, deeper, and more penetrating questions and listen more effectively. What makes this so hard is the fact that we need to be vulnerable. We need to be willing to suspend judgment and open ourselves up to the scary possibilities of either being wrong or potentially losing a relationship. Compassionate curiosity is the key to taming the lizard brain. Slowing down and asking these high-level questions forces you to use the most evolved part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This is where you find logical reasoning. Whenever you get lost, confused, or scared in these conversations, compassionate curiosity will be your North Star. You can look to it for guidance when you don't know what to say. You can lean on it for support in your most difficult conversations. And as you start to build this new habit, you'll realize that it actually takes pressure off of you because your goal is to learn, not to teach. Here's an example. Earlier this year, I found myself in a heated contract negotiation. The guy on the other side was furious. I could actually hear his voice quivering with rage with every word he said. And then I felt the sudden rush of emotion from my amygdala, and it told me that I could either run away, fight back, or just sit there and take it. But instead of falling victim to these primal impulses, I chose to use compassionate curiosity. I led with compassion and focused on addressing his acute emotional needs. I said, listen, I can tell you're upset. What are your biggest concerns? What can we do to help you? And as he started to answer these questions, he slowly began to calm down. And by the end of the conversation, we were laughing and joking with each other, and he gave me everything that I needed. Effective conflict management is a critical element of negotiation and persuasion. This deal would have been impossible if I didn't take the time to suspend my agenda and address the conflict on the front end of the conversation. And you don't need to be a professional negotiator to do this. It works in your personal life as well. But I will be honest with you, I am a lot better at doing this in my professional life than I am in my personal life. And this is because as the relationships get closer, the stakes get higher. There's more to lose. But you have to remember, we don't use compassionate curiosity because it's easy. We use it because the relationship is worth it. Speaking of relationships, let's get back to Whitney and Serial Gate. What does compassionate curiosity look like in this situation? Well, instead of suffering through an ungodly amount of granola to make an ineffective point, what I should have done was first, lead with compassion, and second, invited her to problem solve with me through the use of open-ended questions. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because I actually tried this with Whitney a few weeks later and I learned something fascinating. So when I brought this up to her, she looked at me with genuine confusion and said, Kwame, do I really do that? And I was shocked. And this was shocking to me for two reasons. Reason number one was because at this point we'd been married for 7 years and I could not believe that she didn't know how much of an issue this was to me. Reason number two was because as we were having this serious conversation, she was literally finishing off another box of my cereal right in front of me. This just goes to show that a lot of times the other side is blissfully unaware of the impact that their behavior has on us. And this is precisely why it is our responsibility to stand up and say something if we really care about the relationship and we really care about making positive change. We're living in a time now where it seems as though we've forgotten how to talk to each other. Embracing and sharing this message of compassionate curiosity may be the best thing that we can do to counter the animosity that we're seeing in the world today. So I'll leave you with this. It's a challenge. The next time you find yourself in the midst of a conflict, remember, you have two choices. You could either use compassionate curiosity and actually seek to improve the relationship, or you can follow them home, sneak into their kitchen, and eat all of their granola.
All right. Your thoughts on Mr. Christian. One point I did left out in regards to an effective opening. And this is probably the most powerful of all the openings that I shared with you. Telling a story or a testimony or an opening. What makes stories so powerful? We all grew up on stories. Everyone here has grown up on stories. And, you know, that's what makes them stick. And when you can tell a good story, it can stick to your audience. You got them captivated. They're listening for the problem solution and the conclusion. You know what I mean? They're listening for this whole thing. Now, if you got the storytelling mojo, use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage. This is probably the most powerful of all of the ways to open up a presentation. Another thing I want to share with you, but this is kind of for down the road. But if you notice, and you'll see it again, if you notice in his videos, there weren't, visual aids, there weren't a lot of verbiage. Less is always more. As the old saying go, a picture speaks 1,000 words. The danger of having a bunch of verbiage on a visual aid is your audience will start to read it and they won't pay you any mind. They'll be trying to read what's up there because they think that's what you want them to do. Another visual aid mistake people make, they read their own stuff, even though they may have put it together. And they'll turn their back on their audience and read their own stuff. Now think about this, class. Now what if we were just like we're having class right now, and I just freaking just, come on, man. That's ultimate in disrespect to your audience and to you. Less is more. Less is more. Any thoughts on what you just saw?
I'm definitely going to adopt this approach. It makes a lot of sense.
Of course.
I could use it.
Yeah. I had to adopt it when I was at Penn State because that largely homogeneous group, they're like, okay, well, what's this guy from the East Coast, Metro DC, gonna come talk to us about stereotypes? He probably gonna come in here and blame us for everything. But that wasn't even the case. My thing was, leave your politics, leave your religion, leave this and that at the door. Let's just have a conversation. And it worked out well. But you got to know your audience. You got to know how you're going to, you got to ask the right questions. Anyone else? Any other thoughts or feelings?
I definitely like the story just because it's like funny and it's something that you definitely can relate to. I mean, my boyfriend, I've apparently stolen too many Oreos and I'm 5'3" and he's 6'5". So he stuck the Oreos on the top shelf so I can't have them anymore. So that's his granola eating. So
Oh, he didn't know. He didn't
I
know
got a step stool now, so he can't win it.
Right. Oh, that's a good story. I like that one. All right. Anyone else?
I definitely like the point that he made that conflict allows you to identify problems and repair important relationships, or identify problems and remove malignant ones.
Mm,
It's one of the things where conflict is important.
mhm.
That way you can, like scrub down and get to the bottom of everything you're trying to do.
That's right.
So
That's right. Good points. Good points. All of you. Yeah. Anyone else from your perspective, what you heard, saw, whatever? Okay. Well, this is just a sampling of an example. There'll be others, and you just want to kind of get the feel of how people doing what they're doing, and they kind of help you think about how you're going to do this. So you think about how you're going to do this, and a lot of this stuff I'm sharing with you, I'll post and I'll make it available in the announcement or what have you. Okay. Show you a couple other quick things here. I just want you to see. Let's see here if I can get my hands on it and make it bigger. Can everyone see this, or do I need to make this bigger? Okay, good. All right, so this is going to be your speech outline template. All right, I'll make this available to you, and you can use this to outline your presentation. Now, I want to go over a couple key things that I think you need to understand. Whenever you're crafting your speech, you should have a section in here, and this is part of your introduction. And this is called the attention getter. Again, how are you going to get your audience attention? Tell that story, facts, the quote, the humor, or whatever. All right. What's the core message of your talk? All of your points center around that core message. What is your core message? Hey, I am going to talk about the impact of a climate change. What's that core message? And then you're going to preview your main points. I recommend 3 main points. There's power in the number 3, and I'll talk to you about that later. And then how are you going to transition up under here? The transition. But highlight your 3 main points. Hey, I'm going to talk about climate change. I'm going to talk about how to reduce your carbon footprint. I'm going to talk about how in the heck, let me rephrase that. How we got there, how to reduce your carbon footprint, and things of that nature. So you got your main points. You're giving the audience a preview of what you're going to talk about. And then here in the body, you title your first main point, you title your second main point, and this is where you're going to fill it in with your presentation. All right. And then conclusion. Okay, today you heard me talk about climate change. How did we get there? And what are we going to do about it in your conclusion? And then you get into your closing. Now, don't close, say in conclusion, and then start a whole nother speech. Okay. You close it out. All right. And that's how you get there. So I'll make this available. Now you might be asking, what's this Professor Golden talking about in regards to the number 3? Let me tell you something, class. One thing I'm still evolving and still learning and still growing. But one thing you got to understand is why people do what they do. Why people better than you, and I'm talking about me too, do what they do and how they're so successful. Okay? I know it sounds like a broken record, but 20% of your presentation is your talking. Anybody can talk. Okay? I hear people say that all the time. Oh, I got no problem giving presentations, especially people who hire me. Oh, I do this all the time. Then when I put them on the tape, you know, I used to play football and there used to be a saying, the film don't lie. and we find out how jacked up the talk is because it's just talking, but there's no strategy. The number 3 is very powerful. This goes back to biblical times, right on up to today. 3 wise men, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You know, and it goes into popular culture, you know, in government, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You know, safety, stop, drop, and roll. You know, it just goes, it goes on and on and on. In the fairy tale, I mean, in the God, what are our stories? The 3 blind mice, 3 little pigs. I mean, the big 3. Yeah, yeah, yes. There's so many examples. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. It just goes on and on and on. There's a reason why people use that number. It's spiritual. It helps you to remember. It helps your audience, excuse me, to remember. This is why people do this. So you'll hear me say this throughout this semester we have. If you want to be a good speaker, you got to be a strategic speaker, starting with your audience analysis and starting how you're going to plan this thing out. So you notice I gave you 3 sub points that go into your body. That's what you do. You can use that for any presentation that you do. So you got the layout. You got the layout. Now, this information, I'm just going to deposit in there, but I'm just going to give it to you because I like you. But this is an audience analysis cheat sheet, baby. Oh yeah, from one of my favorite authors and websites. So you got the breaking down by the demographic analysis that I talked to you about, broken down by the psychological analysis, and broken down by the contextual analysis. And you got it, a cheat sheet right there. So I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to charge you $19.99 like they do in info commercials. I'm not going to debit your government credit card. I'm not going to hit you. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. But anyway, I'm not going to send you a bill, Michael. It's not going to happen. It's yours if you want it. So I'm going to give you all of that. All right. I said what I had to say. Anybody got any questions on anything? I dumped a lot of stuff on you here. All right. Can't say I didn't ask, right? All right. So here's the deal. I'm throwing some due dates at you. All right. Your first elevator pitch, and this is in the syllabus, so don't act like you're surprised, because if you read the syllabus, you wouldn't even be writing this down. But anyway, elevator pitch is due tomorrow by 11:59. Post a link or embed a code. Do not upload a file. Do not upload a file, Chris. I see you reacting, Chris. Do not, look at it, he about to fall out the bed. Do not upload a file. Old man don't like that. All right. And, oh, and I did post something out there to show you how to do that. But all you got to do, let's just say you do the thing in YouTube, okay? There's no visual aid required for that. All you got to do is share the link. Just share the link and you're going to get the opportunity to cut and paste that or cut and paste the code. Slap that baby in there. Put your document, your speech, document. You can upload the document and then put that thing in there. Boom, keep it moving. All right. The next due date for your redo, after I make comments and give you an opportunity to make improvements, is April 13th by 11:59, Tuesday, April 13th. All right. Sam, you know you want to write, trying to be all cool. I know you want to write. Savannah, she hiding, so I know she writing something.
Every week I actually write down all my homework assignments for the weeks too.
I'm not surprised. I'm not.
I have memory problems.
Me too. I'm not surprised. No, not really. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. I should have been a freaking detective. I will ID you in a minute, man. I'd be like, wait a minute. That's freaking Mr. McDonald. I saw him in the club. And he wouldn't get me a drink. I'm gonna take him down. Let's see here. Okay, your informative briefing is due Tuesday, April 20th by 11:59. All right. Our next virtual session number 3, we will have on Monday, April 19th. All right. And this time, we will talk persuasive talks. Yeah, we will talk persuasive talks, which takes it to a whole nother level. But now, you don't have to wait that long to talk to the old man. I can be had via, setting up an individual Zoom or Skype session with me. And as always, these recordings will be posted in the student lounge for your whatever, So I'm here with you and I'm here for you. All right. Now, all I want you to do is just take something away from this and be better communicators and better presenters, either in your career or those of you who are going to start businesses or, I don't know. The possibilities are endless. You know what I mean? Some folks might choose to work in a nonprofit. I don't know. But you know what? At some point in time, you're going to have to talk. At some point in time, you're going to have to talk. That's if you want to grow. All right, I'm done. I got nothing else to say. I stand between some of you and dinner, and I stand between some of you and the final NCAA final game. I don't know about you, but I'll be there. Got anything for me? Okay, ready to introduce yourselves to me? You gonna have it posted on time? All right, I don't want to hear no stuff now because I'm watching all of you all. I done heard dogs. I've seen cats slap their owner with their tail. I done seen all kind of things. So I don't want to hear, my pet ate the Wi-Fi signal. All right. I'm on dial up. I don't want to hear none of that. All right. Get it in on time. Don't miss out. Get her done. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to give you feedback. And I can tell you this here. This is something I honestly believe. I honestly believe everyone on this session. Savannah, why you giving me the hand?
I was trying to plug my laptop in, but my cat's sitting in my chair, so I couldn't. I'm like,
Y'all see what I'm talking about now? See what I'm talking about? I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
right now.
Don't. I don't want to hear the cat. The cat ate the Wi-Fi now.
I was steady getting attacked by my cat throughout that whole
my
video.
goodness, you were just getting punished. Tail was just slapping you. Okay. I have confidence and faith that everyone would do a fine job. I really do. You all are a good bunch, and you know, be yourselves, relax, and have some fun with it. I mean, I know it's for a grade and everything, but you know what? Just be yourselves. Everything else will take care of itself. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll hang out for a couple minutes in case somebody have any questions. Just kind of what I do. But enjoy your evening.
You too. Everyone enjoy your evenings.
Good
Have a
night.
good night, everyone.
Bye.
Just me and you. Nah, I'm just playing. You have a good night, sir.
Last time I heard that, man, I had to run.
I was waiting for this moment, right?
It's like, hey, man, just me and you in the playground now, bro.
Right. What you got to say about yourself, you know?
Yeah.